Yes, friends, I am Sunil Desai and welcome to Galaxy Online Learning. Today we are going to study the third chapter of history, that is the making of the global world. Okay, so come to page number 77 of your history textbook. Okay, the making of the global world. Yes, so globalization, you must have heard about globalization a lot in these years. Okay, so you think that you must be thinking that nowadays a lot of globalization is taking place, but it's not totally true because globalization existed centuries back too. Thousands of years ago also globalization existed. But only thing, the difference is that the rate at which globalization was taking place at that time was very low compared to the way it has been accelerated now because of the technological advancements in all the fields. Okay, that's why you see coronavirus spreading like anything throughout the world. That was just because of the globalization. If globalization was at a low scale, just as it was thousands of years ago, it would have taken a lot of time to reach from one country to the other. Globalization was there thousands of years old before also, but now it is accelerated at a very high. In the last 50 years, it is accelerating at a very high speed. Okay, so you find that ancient travelers or traders, priests, spiritual leaders, pilgrims, they traveled vast distances in search of knowledge, in search of business, in search of culture, in search of finding a new place, in search of or some might be ill-treated in that area, in that country, so they wanted to go and shift to migrate to a new area. So all this was happening thousands of years before also. And when they used to travel, these travelers or migrants or leader or spiritual leaders, okay, they used to carry naturally along with them, they used to carry goods, they used to carry their currency, they used to carry their ideas, they used to carry their values, they used to carry their skills. Okay, all naturally with the man, all other things also come. His skill, they are going to come, his knowledge is going to come with him when he travels from one place to another. His language is going to come, his food, what he eats, that also is going to carry, okay, to another country. Along with all these things, naturally that man is also carrying germs which cause disease, just like corona, COVID-19. It was carried away by travelers who carried from China, they went to America, to Europe, and from there to Gulf, and from there to India. So all these things are happened because of, so not only trade and culture, no, not only goods and culture or things like knowledge or ideas, but along with this germs and diseases also travel. Okay, so as early as 3000 BC, okay, there was an active coastal trade link between the Indus Valley civilization and west of Asia. Okay, for more than 1,000 years. Okay, for more than 1,000 years, the kaudi in Hindi we call kaudi. Kaudi is what? Currency, is a form of currency. From the Maldives, it found its way in China and North Africa, East Africa, China and East Africa. From Maldives, discoveries had reached China and East Africa. That shows that there was some trade going on between Maldives and these countries, right? The long distance spread of disease carrying germs can be traced as far back as the 7th century. So just imagine how long this globalization, for people moving from one place. Globalization means people carrying goods or cultures or views, ideas from throughout the world. Okay, this was going on. By the 13th century, it had become a very, it had started spreading slowly by the 13th century. Here you can see a shape, an image of a shape on a memorial stone, and this is of of the 10th century CE. Just imagine 10th century CE. This has been engraved on a stone. Okay, images of ships appear regularly in memorial stones. That shows that there was a lot of trade happening on the in the coastal area. Okay, that shows na Goa being a coastal state. You could see figures of shape that shows that there must be coastal trade happening during the 9th century. Now let us come to the first part, that the Silk routes link the world. As you know already, people used to travel carrying Chinese silk. The traders, they used to carry Chinese cargoes of Chinese silk, and they used to sell this silk to Europe and North Africa. So traders used to carry silk from China. Okay, that's why the route, that road, the path through which they were traveling was called as the Silk Route, because that was the main commodity which used to go through this road. Okay, the Chinese silk. This was followed by the Chinese pottery. Okay, Chinese pottery also went to the different silk routes in which were present at that time. Even Indian spices, textiles from India and the Southeast Asia, it also traveled through this Silk Route. Okay, in Europe and Africa. Okay, in return, they used to carry silk, they used to carry spices, they used to carry textiles from China, India, and other countries in the Asian countries, and they used to get from them in exchange what they used to bring from there. They used to bring silver and gold. Okay, so and naturally, when trade happens, cultural exchange also happens. Okay, so through this route only, many Christian missionaries, they came from Europe to Asia, spreading Christianity. Many Muslim preachers, they came from Arabian countries to spreading Islam. Many Buddhist monks, they spread Buddhism all over the world through these Silk routes. Similarly, when people come, naturally they need food, and so they bring their own food along with it. Their eating habits come along. Okay, so let us see how food traveled. Okay, even ready food stuff also traveled. For the ready food stuff means what you call fast food of today. Okay, noodles became spaghetti. The famous Chinese noodles, they traveled from the Silk Route. They reached European countries, and there they became spaghetti. Okay, then it is, or you can say about the Arab traders who carried pasta to Sicily. Sicily is an island in Italy. They carried pasta to Italy, and now today pasta is known as an Italian food. Okay, but this type of food, the noodles, okay, or this pasta, they were also available at that time in India, Japan also. So it's really difficult to tell where the origin of these foods lie. Okay, whether it's really China or whether it's Italy, because foods of this similar type were also available in India as well as in Japan in those times. Okay. Yet, so many of our common food today, we use a lot of potato, right? So, but this potato was not known to Indians late till the just 500 years before. No one was knowing in India what a potato is. No one had seen a potato 500 years before in India. Okay, potato, or for that matter soya bean or groundnut, maize, tomato, chili, sweet potato, and so on. So there were so many. Now these are very, very common things. In each and every household, you can't have food without a potato. You can't have food without chili. Right? But 5 centuries ago, just 500 years ago, this was just impossible. Indians would never dream of such type of a food available. Okay? So these foods were introduced in Europe and Asia only when Christopher Columbus, who had started on a voyage to discover India, in the route to India, but he landed where? He landed in the great Americas. Okay, and this food was available in America, a vast, huge continent which was so far millions of years, which was isolated from rest of the world. Trades were going on with Europe and the Asian and the African countries, but no one was knowing about America. Okay, there is some continent like this existed before Christopher Columbus reached America. Okay, so all these food varieties we are talking about. We are talking about potato, we are talking about sweet potato, we are talking about groundnut, we are talking about corn, we are talking about tomato, we are talking about chilies. All this food stuff, they came from America to Europe and Asia. Okay, so now what has happened? These have become the most very compulsory items in a food. In a kitchen, in everybody's kitchen in India, you will find a potato. Can you think of anything without potato? Potato is such a vegetable which can be used in each and every vegetable. Okay, you can add it everywhere, anywhere. And it has become as if this is a Indian potato is an Indian food. But 500 years ago, no one in India knew this potato. Okay, the famous vada pav you are eating today. But 500 years before, that potato was nowhere in India. Okay, now these crops which came from America, they were adapted by the Europeans as well as the Asians in such a manner because in such a manner that they became the necessity of these people. Because now potato was a humble product. It means it was a very cheap product. Potato very cheap product. So it became the food for many poor people in Europe. In Europe, the poorest they started eating potatoes because it was cheap. It could suffice. It could suffice them. Okay, it was the cheapest food available for them. Okay, so they could live better, live longer, and they ate better and lived longer just because of this humble food like potatoes. In fact, Ireland's poorest peasants, in Ireland, the poorest peasants, they depended so much on potatoes. And then they depended so much on potatoes that when a disease spread, and which a disease spread on the potato farm, and it destroyed all the potato crop. Okay, it destroyed all the potato crop in Ireland, the disease on potato. Okay, that happened in the mid 1840s. And when this potato crop just vanished or dried up, many people in Ireland just died of starvation because potatoes were not available. So much importance potato had in Europe at that time. Though it was not the food of Europe, it had come from America. So much being cheap and it could suffice the hunger. Okay, so people started using. Now let us see the effect of the conquest, how globalization took place, how disease spread, and how trade took place. Okay, when the world started to become global. The pre-modern world shrank greatly. Shrank means started coming closer. The pre-modern world started coming closer in the 16th century after European sailors found several routes in Asia and also successfully crossed the western ocean of America. Okay, so the world came closer, Shangmins came closer because many sailors they found a route to come to Asia. Previously it was a Silk Route, okay, but now they found a route to come through the sea to Asia as well as they found a route to go to the west part of America. Columbus had reached the eastern part of America, but the other sailors, they found a route to the west part of America. Okay. So what happened was that for centuries before, the Indian Ocean had known a bustling trade with goods, people, knowledge, custom, etc., crisscrossing its waters. The Indian subcontinent was central to these flows and a crucial point in their network. So many sailors who had come to Asia, India played a very, very important role. Okay, because it was at the center of all activity. The sailors had to go through the Indian Ocean. Okay, so before its discovery, America had been cut off from the regular contact with the rest of the world. See, before Christopher Columbus discovered America, no one knew about this continent. It was such a vast continent, but no one knew about it because no one had reached America. People were knowing about Europe, people were knowing about, the Europeans knew Asia, they knew Africa. So, for many centuries, for thousands of years before, the trade was going on from China, India to Europe, and from Europe to China to Africa. All these things were going on, but no one had knew about America. Okay, but when in the 16th century, as Christopher Columbus discovered America, okay, its vast land, it was such a big continent, America, okay, and its abundant crops and minerals, they transformed the trade and lives of the people all over the world, okay. So precious metals like silver from mines located in today's Peru or Mexico. What the European colonists did, the Europeans knew when they came to know about America, many Europeans, the European powers, they started having control over America. Why? Because it was rich with minerals. So many European countries, they wanted to have control over that area. Okay, so they conquered many parts of America, and like when there were mines like of silver in Peru and Mexico, they used their wealth. The European countries, they used the wealth. They brought silver from America and they used that wealth to finance the trade with Asian countries. Means if they want to buy spices or buy cloth or buy silk from Asian countries, they used to buy silk from them, and instead they used to give what? Silver from this, which they had bought from America. Okay, so in fact many Europeans, they set off expeditions to find the fabled city of gold. Which was the fabled city of gold? El Dorado. It was said that there is a place called El Dorado in America where there are many gold mines. So many expeditions were carried out to find out the place, El Dorado. Okay, it is a fabled, it is not actually there. Okay, it's a fabled city. The Portuguese and the Spanish conquest and colonization of America was decisively underway by the mid 16th century. So by the mid 16th century, many Portuguese and Spaniards, they started the Spaniards and the Portuguese, they started colonizing these areas of America. Okay, and how they started colonizing, how they make their American land their colonies, not just by firework. In fact, more than firework, it spread because of some disease. See, now America, the people staying in America, since they were isolated, they were not knowing about the world, so they were isolated. Okay, they were isolated, they were not in contact with any part of the world. Whereas the Europeans, who went to make them the colonies, they had already known the world, and they had so many diseases in them. Okay, they carried germs of many diseases, but they were immune to it, because since they carry, so like we Indians, we carry so many diseases, but we don't, because so many bacteria and viruses are just there in this air, we don't know. Okay, but because of our immunity, they don't harm us. Right? Similarly, these Europeans, they were carrying so many diseases. But these people, the Americans, they were isolated, so they were not immune to all this. So once the Spaniards and the Portuguese entered America, along with them, naturally, the disease also came as a free gift, and this disease they spread like anything throughout the America. Okay, throughout America it spread like anything. And as you know, just like you know about today's condition, coronavirus, COVID-19, you can't see it. That's why you can't fight against it. It is difficult. If you see something, you can fight against it. If someone is standing in front of you with a gun or a sword or a chaku, you can fight with him. Okay, but you are not seeing your enemy, then how you can fight with him? The same thing happened over there. Okay, and this Spanish people, at that time, the smallpox, the disease of smallpox was a incurable disease at that time. Okay, means many people used to die. Incurable means to say, I mean to say it was not incurable, but many people used to die. Okay, but the Spaniards were uh, immune to all those things. But when they entered America, the Americans, the natives of America, they were not immune. So they started dying. So the conquerors, the Spanish, they don't have to fight with them. Okay, they don't have to take a sword in a hand or a gun in a hand. The disease had already spread, and because of the disease, they used to die. So no one to fight. Okay, and this disease spread like anything throughout America. And before the Europeans entered in many places, the interiors of America, the the natives staying there have already vanished, already died because the disease had spread before the Europeans entered that place. Got it? So it became easier for the Europeans to conquer that area, to make America their colony. Okay? Understood? So, that's what it is said. Guns could be bought or captured and turned against the invaders. Means if someone is fighting with a gun, you can also take a gun and fight with him. But when you don't know, we don't see with whom you are fighting. That fighting means suppose there is a bacteria or a virus. You can't see it with the naked eye. So you don't know where exactly it is, then how you can fight. Okay, that's exactly what happened at that time. Okay, so diseases such as smallpox were not able to be the people in America could not see it naturally. So the conquerors were immune to it, but the Americans were not, and they gave the land to the conquerors could get the land without any fight. Okay, see, until the 19th century, the situation in Europe was such that there was a lot of import. People were poor, and there was a lot of hunger. There were no jobs. Okay, there were no jobs. People were hungry. There was poverty in Europe. Cities were crowded. There were deadly diseases. So now these people saw an opportunity in America. So they thought life is like hell in Europe. So why not go to America and stay over there? Because it's a vast area, no one's staying over there. So let's go and stay over there. Okay. Also, there were many religious conflicts at that time in Europe. Okay. So those people who were not ready to accept certain faiths, they are called the religious dissenters. They were persecuted, that means they were ill-treated. So these religious people also, who were dissenters, they also started shifting from Europe to America. Okay, so therefore thousands of people fled from Europe to America. So by the 18th century, in the plantations of America, which were worked by slaves captured from Africa. Slaves, what the Europeans did? They were not used to hard work. Okay, so they bought slaves from Africa, African people. Okay, the African people, they used to buy slaves from Africa and they used to run their plantations in America. Understood? Because the Europeans were not ready to do hard work, whereas these slaves, they got to do the hard work. Now in these plantations, instead of what they used to grow before. Now they started growing sugar and cotton, because cotton and sugar were necessary for the European markets to thrive, so that the Liverpool and Manchester textile industries should thrive. So they needed cotton. They bought it from India, as well as they started getting it from America. Okay. Then sugar was also needed by the Europeans, so they started having plantations of sugar cane now in America. So until well into the 18th century, China and India were among the richest country in the world. Today we are a developing country, but till the 18th century, we, along with China, were the richest country among the world. As well as we also were the preeminent, the prominent players of trade, okay, in the Asian trade. We were the topmost traders. India and China were the topmost traders in the Asian market. Okay. However, from the 15th century, what happened? From the 15th century, China slowly started reducing its role in the international trade. It means it started becoming isolated. It means it stopped doing business outside China. It started slowly, gradually, it started isolating itself from the market. So, as China reduced its role, what happened? The America took its place. Okay, China, so exporting things that were exporting from China started reducing. So who took its place? Well, anyway, European market needed goods, so the America gradually took its place, and now the world trade started moving towards the west. Okay, China came down, so now only India remained. That too, India was a colony. Okay, so slowly, now Europe emerged as the center of the world trade. So slowly, Europe became the center of the world trade. This is for you for today. Okay, and with this, I end my lecture for today. Please go through the lecture, and still, as a request to you, okay, you are wasting your time, I would say. Sorry to say that, but I'll tell you are wasting your time. For those who have not yet registered, please register so that you can start studying, my dear friends. You should start studying right now, otherwise it will be very difficult at the end. I'll tell you once again, social science is a scoring subject. The marks in social science will help you to increase your percentage. Okay, if you want really 90 plus marks, then you have to give great import along with science and maths. This is another subject where you will have to pay a lot of attention. So start studying now. So please, those who have not yet registered, get yourself registered so that you can register with Galaxy Tutorials, so you get back the study pack, which will help you to study, which contains, as usual I'll tell you, which contains all the concepts, then the maps, MCQs, big answers, brief answers, long, everything is there in this. Okay, so please register yourself with Galaxy Tutorials so you get this study pack. You can watch the videos as well as go through the study pack. Okay, thank you.